All right, everybody, welcome back to the All-In Woodsman. My name is Trey Worsham, and today we are going to be firing up the Pit Boss and doing a compare and contrast on a wild boar Boston butt as well as a store-bought Boston butt. Y'all stick around and let's see how they compare. All right, everybody, it is 4th of July weekend here in the United States, and what goes better with 4th of July than barbecue? On 4th of July, everybody around here likes to get the barbecue pits fired up, and we're gonna do the exact same thing today. Like I said in our intro, we got the Pit Boss fired up to 225. It's warming up right now, but today, in today's video, we're gonna be doing a compare and contrast on two different Boston butts. The first of which is right here. And it is a wild boar shoulder that we got off of our hog that we killed last year. And it's been in the freezer, sitting there, waiting for a time just like this. So we're gonna do a compare and contrast to this wild boar shoulder to our second Boston butt, which is gonna be just a store-bought Springfield Boston butt. It's a half Boston butt to compare to the size of the wild boar shoulder that we have. But today we're just gonna be seeing if you can tell the difference between a wild boar shoulder or a Boston butt from the store after smoking in the exact same way here on the Pit Boss Smoker. So I hope you are having a phenomenal Independence Day here in the United States of America, celebrating our independence and freedom. Today though, we're gonna be celebrating here on the channel with some barbecue fresh off the smoker here in just a few short hours. So guys, y'all stick around. Let's jump into getting these Boston butts on the smoker. Okay, so considering we're doing a comparison, we're gonna do both these Boston butts the exact same way. That way there's no differences between the two, and it's just the comparison of the meat and seeing how it tastes. So the way that I'm gonna prepare these is the exact same way that I prepare most of my Boston butts, minus a few things here and there. First off, what we're gonna do is we're gonna rub it down with some yellow mustard as a binding agent for our dry rub. Sorry, the chickens are going crazy in the background. Then we're gonna be using this Hog Killers, the barbecue rub. It's just a regular barbecue rub, not spicy or anything, just something simple that we can put on there. So we're gonna put our yellow mustard on, then we're gonna put that Hog Killer rub on, and then we're gonna put them on the smoker. We're gonna run them about 225, low and slow, and then about every hour or 2 hours, we're gonna be spraying them with a mixture of cherry Coke for some sugar and a little cherry flavor. But then we're also gonna be doing a little Jim Beam bourbon in there as well. So I've got it set up right here in my little spray bottle that I'm gonna be spraying with about every 2 hours, 2.5 hours, and it's 1 part Jim Beam to 2 parts cherry Coke. So it should be a nice little mixture. We're just gonna spray on the outside to keep it nice and moist while also developing that bark that we want on the outside of that Boston butt. All right, so we're gonna start off by getting our regular store-bought Boston butt doctored up like we normally like it. Like I said, this is a half a Boston butt. Our wild boar shoulder Boston butt, whatever you want to call it, was I weighed it about 5.3 pounds. And so I wanted something in comparison to the weight. That way we were comparing kind of apples to apples and not apples to oranges. So this is a half a Boston butt. It is still bone in, just like the wild shoulder. The only difference is the wild shoulder I did myself, and it definitely doesn't look like a regular Boston butt because I'm no butcher and I don't claim to be a butcher. So it is definitely a little different, but we're gonna see how it turns out comparing to the store-bought. So what I'm gonna do first, like I said, I'm gonna put this yellow mustard right here on this Boston butt, just a nice little bit, just to get a nice base layer on. This is gonna be to bind that rub to it. Like I said, this is a little half butt. You got the bone there, your fat cap there. So get a nice coating. Doesn't have to be anything fancy. Get messy with it. And then after that, we're gonna come over here. Like I said, we've got our Hog Killers, the barbecue rub. It's gonna be the rub we're using for this. And then what we're gonna do is we're just gonna simply come through and put a nice heavy coat on this Boston butt. You've got that binder on there. what you're gonna have to do is just kind of flip it around. Some of it's gonna come off on your tray that you're preparing it on. Just flip it around, make sure there's no empty spots. Like, make sure to get your sides here. With a Boston butt, you're putting your seasoning on the outside, but then you're gonna shred it all up to make barbecue out of at the end, and the inside meat's not gonna have any seasoning on it. So you're gonna want this bark to become your flavoring all throughout your barbecue. So you're just gonna get it nice and seasoned up in every little crevice that there is. Like I said, just flip it over, make sure you get plenty of seasoning on there. You can't go too heavy on the seasoning on the outside of Boston butt. So there we go, we've got this ready. We're gonna flip the pans. I'm gonna grab the wild boar shoulder and we're gonna do the exact same thing, prepping it, and we're gonna get them on the smoker. All right, so now we're down to the wild boar shoulder. And if you pan down here, you're gonna see this is a lot leaner, definitely more bone structure. You got the shoulder working its way down to the legs. I don't claim to be a butcher, but this is what I got off of it. I tried to take off as much of the silver skin, the sinew, as I could to give enough room for seasoning and stuff to get in there, but also so it won't be hopefully as tough. Try to come through and take as much of that off as possible. You can't get it all off. I'm not a butcher, but we're gonna give it a shot and see. So we're gonna do it the exact same way. We're gonna start by adding some of this yellow mustard to it. All right. If y'all ever cooked a wild boar shoulder, Boston butt, whatever you want to call it, and had success with it, drop the recipe down in the comment section below, because I would love to know if y'all had some success, because I'm not sure exactly how this one's going to turn out. So we got that all doctored up. Now we're going to go with our rub, just like our last one. Nice and heavy. Flip it over. Again, I'm not sure how much actual meat I'm going to get off of this, just because of how my butchering skills are, but we're gonna see. I mean, if you get anything off of it, it's basically free pork. So one thing to note, when you're cooking wild game, you definitely want to make sure you get it up to temperature. So we're going to be paying really close attention to this butt in particular to make sure it hits that 200, 205 mark. That's well over what you need to kill the bacteria that's in this meat, but you just want to make sure if you're cooking any type of wild hog in particular, they have bacteria in there that is not good for you. So you're going to want to make sure you cook it to at least that 165, which I'm pretty sure is the temperature you want to get to kill that bacteria. We're going to be smoking this to about 200, 205 to get it to fall apart, hopefully, which will be more than enough to kill that bacteria off. So we're going to get both of these on the smoker and get the process started. This is our store-bought one going on right here. And then we're gonna grab our wild one here. We're gonna put it right over here. So the reason I'm not putting one right here, this is where my fire pot's at. So I'm gonna put one to this side and one to the other side. That way there's not one directly over that firebox. So got the smoke going, got it on. I'm gonna go wash my hands. We'll get this shut down, and we'll see you guys back at the 2-hour mark. All right, y'all. We're about an hour and a half in. Check it on. This is the wild shoulder, and this is our regular store-bought butt. We're just gonna start hitting them with a little bit of our spray. All right, everybody, we are out here at our 2.5-hour check. I'm checking these a little more often because they are smaller butts. I'm not letting them go the full 2 hours and checking like I do with my bigger butts. I'm actually checking them about every hour, hour and 15 minutes. So we're out here at our 2.5-hour check. Let's see what they look like. All right, here we go. All right, everybody, we're at 7 hours on our smoke for these two Boston butts. I wanted to do a quick update for you guys. As you can see, it's still relatively light out here, but the sun's going down. It's 9 o'clock and we're at hour 7. I think we've got probably another hour and a half, 2 hours on the wild boar shoulder. The store-bought one is looking like it's getting close to that 200-degree mark. Just gonna let it ride for a little bit longer and we'll pull it off, but it may be dark when this other shoulder gets off, and I don't know how well you are gonna be able to see for the updates to come after the sun starts really going down. So I wanted to show you real quick, just a quick update of kind of what's been going on with the smoker. I did move the wild boar shoulder to the hot side as well. It was cooking a little bit slower, but I wanted it to speed up just a teeny bit, so I did move it to the hot side of my smoker probably about 30 minutes ago. So this is what they're looking like at 7 hours right now. Here we go. Probably gonna be the last update before the sun gets down so low that we can't see them, but here we go. Alright, you guys, I just pulled the wild hog shoulder off the smoker. It took so much longer than I anticipated. It is 2 in the morning right now and I just pulled that off the smoker. That means this butt, or this shoulder, has been on the smoker for 12 hours now. It took so much longer than I anticipated, but we're gonna jump into that a little bit later in the video. I just wanted to give you guys my initial taste test. Even though I'm exhausted and tired, I'm sure y'all can hear it in my voice, I wanted to give y'all the initial taste test while it was still fresh. So here we go. Let's see. Let's get a good piece. I will say, just initial thoughts, the color was phenomenal. The smoke ring was amazing. There were pieces that were too tough to shred, but it definitely was shreddable. Tender. Guys, I'm not sure I can tell the difference between that and the store-bought Boston butt. There might be a hint of gaminess, but very little. I'm shocked because this was a boar hog that I killed, which is supposed to be very gamey. But there may be just a hint of gaminess to it. But you throw some barbecue sauce on there, you're not gonna be able to tell the difference. But guys, I'm gonna head to bed. Tomorrow I've got my wife, my dad, and my brother that I'm gonna have them do a blind taste test to see if they can tell the difference between wild boar shoulder and store-bought Boston butt. So y'all stick around. I'm gonna get some sleep and we're gonna catch you guys in the morning and we're gonna show you and see if they can actually tell the difference between the two different butts. All right, everybody, so obviously it is the next day. We wrapped up smoking our Boston butts last night at 2:30 in the morning. So technically it was this morning at 2:30. So we did not film the conclusion of this video until today. It is the next evening. What we're gonna do is we're over here at the farm at my parents' house. I had to find some people to do the blind taste test for me. All right, so I've got them right here. This is my dad. This is Hayden. Both of them are first time on the channel, so they're gonna be my taste testers today. We've got the pulled pork right here, ready for them to go. So why don't y'all go ahead, and we're gonna start with the non-barbecue sauced Boston butt. They're gonna taste both of them and then let me know which one they think each one is. All right, so they're testing the A pulled pork right now. All right, what's your thoughts on A?
Good flavor.
Good flavor?
A little tough.
Okay.
A little tougher.
Yeah, I mean just a touch,
Just a touch, yeah.
but great flavor.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Not sure which one it is yet.
All right, they're gonna try B.
A lot more tender.
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 Little more tender than that one.
Okay. So they're saying it's more tender.
Flavor's just as good though.
Yeah.
Good flavor, just as good as A.
What do you think?
All right, do y'all have a consensus?
I think B is not the wild and the A is.
I agree. I think this is the wild and I think this is store-bought.
All right, so they think A is wild and B is store-bought.
Based mostly on the texture and that one was a little drier and a little bit tougher.
Okay.
And that one was a little more what I'm used to with a store-bought butt.
Store-bought. Well, they got that correct. The first A was wild and the first B was store-bought. And while they're tasting this one with the barbecue sauce, that is one thing I noticed while I was cooking this is the wild one was a little more on the tough side just because of how lean the meat was. So let's see kind of what they think of the sauced one. See if they can tell a difference.
Spilled it on me.
It's all right, I do that all the time.
Both were good, but as I expected, this one was just still a little tough.
Yeah.
Great flavor though. It did not even really taste wild.
Okay.
This just tasted a little more normal, what I'm used to.
Exactly. Okay.
But both were exceptional.
All right, so y'all are sticking with A is wild and B is
A
store-bought?
is wild and B is store-bought.
All right, well, they got that right. So, all right, so in conclusion, what we're gonna say is, when tasting the Boston butt, the difference was not necessarily in the flavor. The flavor was there. We did these Boston butts the exact same way, but the difference was the tenderness. And that's something that I discovered as I was smoking this and as I was pulling these Boston butts last night, was that the wild boar just had such more, it was so much more tough, and that's because it's a lean meat. The store-bought Boston butts are fatty, they are built up, whereas these wild hogs, and especially this boar that I killed, really was muscular, very tough. They've been running around, they're wild. So that leaner meat is going to take longer to get tender, and it may not ever get as tender as those store-bought Boston butts. But guys, I hope y'all have enjoyed this video. I wanted to do a comparison here on the 4th of July for barbecue of all things, because that's what we do on 4th of July, is we celebrate our independence and we barbecue things. And so today I wanted us to see if we could tell the difference between a wild boar shoulder and a store-bought Boston butt. And the conclusion today is, yes, you can tell the difference, but not because of flavor or gaminess, which you might have thought, but more because of the toughness and the texture of the meat is how you're gonna tell that apart. So would I smoke a wild Boston boar shoulder again and use it for barbecue? Absolutely. I think I would do that in a heartbeat. There would be a few things that I would tweak, but I would most definitely do that. So guys, if y'all have enjoyed this video, if you enjoy the content that you see on the channel, make sure to smash that subscribe button, turn on the bell notifications. That way y'all get notified next time we post a video. We're getting ready to go to Hawaii for a week and a half in August to do some fishing, some different exploration over there. Who knows what videos are going to come out of that. Make sure you are subscribed to the channel. That way y'all don't miss when those videos start dropping in the near future. But guys, thank y'all for watching. Thank you so much for your support, and we will see you guys in the next video. See ya.